Welcome to another episode of the Jampack Report, today for April the 10th of 2021. Of course, my name is Samuel Adams, and this is a daily gaming news podcast meant to bring you the hottest news you need to know from around the industry. Hosted on YouTube and podcast services around the world 5 days a week, it's your one-stop shop for everything you need to know. So if you enjoy the show and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and keep coming back for more. But you might have noticed this is the rare Saturday show because we are getting a bonus episode of the Jampack Report this week after tons of PlayStation news dropped on Friday, all ultimately stemming from this article from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier called "Sony's Obsession with Blockbusters is Stirring Unrest Within PlayStation Empire." Highly recommend checking out the full article because there is a lot of good information to check out here. But for the sake of brevity, I wanted to read in full the report from IGN's Joe Skrebels, who does a fantastic job of summarizing the entire situation here. So again, from Joe Skrebels at IGN, you have The Last of Us Remake reportedly in development and Days Gone 2 pitch rejected. Sony Studios are reportedly working on a remake of The Last of Us, while Sony Bend begins work on a new game after an unsuccessful 2019 pitch to make Days Gone 2. In a new Bloomberg report into dissatisfaction among Sony's lesser-known studios, sources say that a Last of Us remake codenamed T1X was started by Michael Mumbauer, the founder of Visual Art Service Group, a Sony developer that traditionally assists development on PlayStation Studios games. Mumbauer apparently assembled a new 30-strong development group and, after passing on the idea of a remake for the first Uncharted game, settled on a remake of 2013's The Last of Us. However, the team reportedly ran into trouble after Sony kept their existence a secret and refused to offer extra budget. Head of PlayStation Studios Herman Hulst apparently deemed the project too expensive, and Mumbauer's team was moved to support development of The Last of Us 2. Bloomberg sources say that after The Last of Us 2 was completed, Sony moved multiple Naughty Dog developers onto the T1X project, and the remake effectively became a Naughty Dog project. Mumbauer and other original developers have now left the company, but development on the remake is apparently continuing. As part of the same report, Bloomberg also says that Sony Bend pitched a sequel to Days Gone after the game's release in 2019, but was rejected. Sony then apparently moved Bend developers onto two Naughty Dog projects, a multiplayer game, presumably the standalone Last of Us multiplayer game, and a new Uncharted project, which has also been rumored recently. Some Bend staff reportedly left as a result of having their autonomy taken away, and leadership allegedly complained to Sony and asked to be moved off of Uncharted development. Sony Bend is now apparently working on a new original game, but it's not clear if this is Days Gone 2, a brand new game, or a return to another back catalog game. Then they have an update from Eurogamer. Eurogamer reports that its sources claim a Sony Bend developed Uncharted game was planned to be a new chapter for the series, possibly a prequel, and was intended as something of a reboot for the series. It's unclear if those plans have persisted with Bend off the project. There had been many rumors about a new Sony team in San Diego led by Mumbauer, with many assuming that it was working on a new Uncharted game after it said it was developing an existing franchise. However, it seems that referred to The Last of Us, with Uncharted's future seemingly remaining under Naughty Dog's control. Again, there's a lot to break down here in this story, but first and foremost, The Last of Us Remake. I'm of two different minds on this one. First and foremost, I know that it's going to make money. I know that it's going to absolutely sell well because The Last of Us is a safe bet. It's a name that has earned its stripes in the PlayStation library, and so people will inevitably go out and buy another remake of that game. But at the same time, it's only been out for 10 years, and I'm talking about on the PlayStation 3's 2011 release. Then you had the 2013 PlayStation 4 release. Now you have it coming to the PlayStation Plus collection, of course backward compatible on PlayStation 5. What we would really need is a next generation upgrade. Improve those textures a bit, improve the frame rates, that kind of stuff seems great. Give it quality of life improvements, but a full remake feels like a bit of a reach for me. I've seen a lot of people online talking about the level design comparisons between The Last of Us 2 and The Last of Us 1, and there is a lot of validity there. There are stark contrasts between these two individual games, but at the same time, I feel like it shows the growth of the developer. Why change the original experience and take away from the amazing improvements that have come with The Last of Us 2? I don't feel they really need to fund this project. It seems like they're really beating a dead horse. Make new games, bring new unique ideas, take risks, let developers make what they want to make, and that brings me to Days Gone 2. To see Days Gone 2 rejected feels strange to me. It's not a game that really connected with me. I was never a big Days Gone guy. I probably played it for about 4 or 5 hours and it never really did click. But a ton of people I know love Days Gone. That warrants a sequel. That warrants taking a risk on bringing a second entry into that franchise. I've seen people online talking about what could have been done with the hordes that were in Days Gone 2, which are effectively giant collections of zombies that had never really been done before in that capacity. Imagine that with the technology of the PlayStation 5 and the power of the PlayStation 5, that's very, very promising. And to see Sony pull the plug on that and move the studio around is wrong. What it really comes down to is you need to allow developers to make what they want to make. You need to let teams be creative, try new things, experiment, see what they can come up with, because the next thing that they come up with, the next idea that they have, could be your next million seller. It could be your next big franchise. Let the passion flow and fund that, and cool things will come. You will have a lot of failures, make no mistake about it, but you can't always hedge your bets on having big hits 24/7, and that's exactly what Schreier's article is pointing out here. Sony is completely and totally obsessed with making these fantastic, incredible first-party AAA experiences. And that's all well and good, and they will absolutely make money, but that takes the human element out of game development. That takes the experimentation, the exploration out of game development, and the indie space has so much to offer. There are so many fantastic PlayStation experiences that I would have never been able to have if Sony had been focused entirely on big AAA development. And so that's kind of where I'm left with this. I don't like where the company is going, and a lot of people have been throwing around this clip from Shawn Layden's speech at E3 2014 because it was filled with passion, and I wanted to share it here with you guys, so go ahead and give it a listen.
A little earlier, I was delighted to hear Andy give a shout out to one of the most iconic games of our time, Vib Ribbon. Yeah, give it up for Vib Ribbon. A personal favorite of mine that really embodies the PlayStation spirit. It wasn't a multi-million seller, but that's not the point. Vib Ribbon was unafraid to go against the tide. It was courageous in its ambition, and it brought a completely new experience to gamers. It's an incredible time to be part of the PlayStation family. I look forward to growing our gaming community through breakthrough experiences that inspire and delight. After all, guys, it's all about the games, isn't it?
This all connects back to the story that we saw in February with PlayStation confirming that Japan's studio would be reorganized. And this is a studio that has really created some unique experiences. Now it's a smaller studio focused entirely on Astro's Playroom, but in the past you've seen games like Ape Escape, Gravity Rush, The Last Guardian. These very, very unique PlayStation experiences come out, and it shows they're entirely focused on building these AAA games, these big Last of Us experiences, Horizons, God of Wars. And again, those will sell well, but at what cost? You're missing out on so many unique experiences that you could be having otherwise, and that really bums me out as somebody who likes the smaller experiences. That's why I have migrated almost entirely from PlayStation to Xbox. Microsoft is taking a flipped approach, and that's really going to show this generation. Give developers freedom to make what they want, and they're going to make something that players enjoy. At the very least, you're going to be showing that you're innovating and trying new ideas, rather than continuing to harp on these God of Wars, Horizons, The Last of Us, Uncharted. Yes, I know these are cool, but at the same time, I've played Uncharted, I've played The Last of Us, I've played God of War. You can keep doing this time and time again, but eventually, you're going to have to do something new. And at what point that is, I'm still not sure. But at the end of the day, Sony is certainly making some different moves, and a lot of people have been calling back for Shawn Layden days to bring that guy back, because when PlayStation was under his control, it was a powerhouse, and those were the good days. That's when I was a huge hardcore PlayStation guy, but my passion for the company has been lost over the years as they've shifted their approach. I'm just not a big fan of where they are anymore. And on top of that, you see them continuing to talk about their mobile strategy, because PlayStation is planning to bring the likes of Uncharted and God of War to mobile. It seems this is all stemming from a new job listing, which is for the head of mobile at PlayStation. The company is seeking a head of mobile to work in their San Mateo or LA office, outlining a 3 to 5 year plan for bringing the company's biggest franchises to mobile devices. According to the job description, quote, as head of mobile, you will own and develop the mobile game strategy for PlayStation Studios and help build a foundation for the future growth opportunities. You will lead all aspects of the expansion of our game development from consoles and PCs to mobile and live services when they focus on successfully adapting PlayStation's most popular franchises for mobile. You will be responsible for building and scaling a team of mobile leaders and will serve as the head of this new business unit within PlayStation Studios, end quote. And so you see another push into something that many people would consider to be kind of an iffy bet, but something that I think is actually wise. I'm excited to see what they come up with, because mobile is growing in a very big way. You see this happening with franchises like Call of Duty, which is doing incredibly well. What I personally would love, and what will never absolutely happen, I want to make that very clear, never gonna happen, would love to see Killzone Mercenary come to mobile devices. That sounds like a great time, because the Vita version of that game is wonderful. I could see it easily translate to mobile devices. But as they double down on mobile, it's clear they are focusing on their very, very large games, the biggest games they can possibly imagine making. You're talking about bringing some of these huge names, again, like Uncharted and God of War, to mobile devices. In what format? Who knows? Could it be one of the Elder Scrolls Legends kind of situations where you see the swiping mechanic and the kind of exploration in that kind of way? Or could it be some kind of endless runner that's themed like Uncharted? Who knows? But I'm excited to see what they come up with. So it looks like a 3 to 5 year timeline is when you could be hearing more about this, according to the job listing, and I'll keep you guys in the loop. But again, PlayStation is shifting in a very, very big way. And I want to make it very clear, I'm not hating on the company. I want it to be successful. I'm passionate about the direction they're going because I love the PlayStation brand. I grew up on PlayStation 1. I grew up on PSP. I grew up on PS2, and I had a PS3 in middle school, high school that got me through those days. I love the PlayStation brand, and I want to see them return to that former greatness, because greatness awaits. There you have it, the tagline right there. And I want to see more of that company that I fell in love with. But it seems like right now, they're getting a bit too big for their britches, as the saying goes. They're getting a bit cocky. You know, everybody's talking about how great games like Spider-Man, Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War, they're talking about how good these games are, and I feel like Jim Ryan, he's starting to get a little bit of a big head. No one is untouchable in this industry. No one is immune from fading into the future. You need to make sure that your moves are well placed, and I'm just not sure they entirely are right now. Looking forward to the future, though, hoping they turn the ship around, and I feel like over time they inevitably have to. But Microsoft is making up ground with Game Pass and new development from 35 internal studios across the Xbox Game Studios teams. A lot going on over there, so Sony better watch their back. Just saying. But that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and if you did, drop me a like down below, and let me know what you think about this new story coming out about PlayStation. What do you think about this new approach? How do you feel about Jim Ryan? How do you feel about Shawn Layden? Would love to hear your thoughts down below. But until next time, you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.